this is Puli Alam, and it represents a small village or town in Afghanistan.
And in this simulated Afghan village, there's an emergency. An Afghan woman, pregnant, in desperate need of medical attention.
And the unit will come out here and hopefully assess her and identify, does she take to a local national hospital or back to the U.S. hospital to get her treated. And there'll be other things going on, but the critical player is the medic, because he or she is the expertise.
Stepping up to the plate, the responding medic is 24-year-old Army Specialist Victoria Wortman. She's here to add specialized knowledge about Afghanistan to her experience from a previous deployment to Iraq.
For the first couple of months, we really didn't see hardly anything at all, and just out of nowhere, we started seeing all kinds of patients, and we did very well. We made a name for ourselves in Iraq. We had the best aid station in RAO.
Still, she knows her job today will not be an easy one.
I need to watch what I'm doing, how I'm presenting myself, because in their culture, they don't look on women too highly. They expect women to be quiet. So I need to watch what I do and how I present myself to these cultural people so that I don't upset them.
Hey, I need
Worthman, come here.
I need a team, Sergeant Major. I need a team now. And a litter. I need someone we can get her out of here.
I'm authorized to move at this time. Shoot what you can on the spot.
Despite Specialist Workman's untiring efforts to overcome this desperate situation, she alone cannot determine the final outcome.
What I need is the doctor to come over here.
When her team fails to provide timely assistance, the situation escalates.
If they're taking their time and not moving fast enough, she'll actually go into shock, and then the reaction around her, the civilians will feed off of her.
Then spirals out of control.
They'll go from peaceful protests up to riot, and they'll just become more difficult as the unit remains in this area.
In the days and hours to come, the unit that responded to the Puli Alam emergency will receive plenty of review and feedback.
What I was trying to get an insight of, I was giving you low respirations and a low pulse. The insight I wanted was to get the patient evacuated. That was the insight I wanted. I know you talked to the Sergeant Major. I even kind of gave you a little push to say, hey, you're the medic on the scene. It's your scene. It's your patient. You take charge. You tell them what you need, what you want.
The lessons learned from drills such as the Puli Alam emergency, where U.S. soldiers are forced to cross cultural barriers and interact closely with Afghans and Iraqis, are among the most important Fort Polk has to teach.
Everything we do is about the people. It's absolutely paramount. We can train and provide the best combat force that you can imagine. I mean, we are the best in the world today. There is nobody who is better than us in combat operations. And in every battle that we've been engaged with, both in Iraq and Afghanistan, we have won, and we will continue to win. But that will never win the war. The war cannot be won by military force alone. It just won't. And so the idea that we need to become more culturally attuned and aware of where we're operating, we need to engage more with the population.
Tell her that she needs to
Don't palm your left hand.
Wait.
The complexity of the urban environment, the political, religious, and ethnic tensions really bleed throughout. So it's more than just a security operation with the area you're operating in, but more so you're looking at governance, you're looking at development, you're looking at building the capacity and capability of the security forces, the host nation security forces in the area.
This pivotal point is reinforced again and again as soldiers in training make their way through the dozens of makeshift homes, farms, and mosques at the mock Afghan and Iraqi towns scattered throughout the training center.
We'd love to have your villagers come out and as soon as possible.
The more tribal, the more traditional cultures, it's about personal, long-term relationships. I'm not going to make any progress until you and I develop a relationship of trust. Not of capitulation between either one of us, but of trust between the two of us, that my word is my deed, and then if I tell you something, it's going to happen.
In late 2001, cultural awareness training at the JRTC took on a new intensity with the founding of Engagement University, the place where Army leaders spend 5 or 6 days learning the cross-cultural skills they'll need to negotiate, interact, and build relationships effectively in Afghanistan and Iraq. This type of training hasn't always been embraced by its participants.
Our leaders, really at every level, approach the problem as one of, I have the weapons, I have the soldiers, I have the authority, and in one way or the other, things are going to go my way. I'm going to direct what happens here. And in some ways, they're exactly the audience we're looking for. We're looking for those individuals who are still focused on purely lethal approach to the problem, who don't respect the cultural issue, and we're trying to help them understand you have to be absolutely capable of lethal operations, and simultaneously, you must be capable of cross-cultural communications to effectively lead this to a political solution without having to bring a gun into the equation.
I'm willing to do other things within your culture to do the apology.
In this exercise, Major Patrick Cyber is in the hot seat, meeting with leaders of an Afghan village after a 9-year-old girl was hit by a U.S. military vehicle and seriously injured.
I would like to go meet with the family, and I am prepared to present compensation to the family.
Every word Major Cyber utters, every move he makes, is monitored and scrutinized by a team of observer controllers.
This is part of counterinsurgency warfare, and that's what we're focusing on now. We're learning how to fight this. We were good at this at one time as an Army, and now we're having to relearn it. So this is all part of that.
And as always, there's lots of follow-up.
And there was a little fumbling as far as with the weapon.
When I first came in here, we said, well, part of the Afghan culture is if you're in their house, they're going to protect you. And so I didn't need to have my weapon. And because it is insulting to them, is that, well, if you're in my house, why do you need to have a weapon? And so trying to figure out, well, what do I do with it? I walked in here with it, and I know they don't want me to have it. Well, what's that going to look like?
You know, you obviously recovered nicely from it in the actual engagement, but there was a little, I believe, kind of an awkward moment from my observations in terms of, you know, getting that taken care of.
Well, that was the thing that we learned here, is that it's about building the relationships. It's about working with people. And we are ambassadors, and we need to learn about their culture and the people and how to help them solve the problems that are there.
I wanted to communicate something to the Afghan people.
We get continuous repetitive feedback from the leadership, and the same thing from the soldiers while they're here. If you ask them when they finish up, they'll tell you the most eye-opening and probably the most valuable thing they did was come here, sit in a room, and pitch your wits against the role players that are here.
What makes the Engagement University experience and the overall JRTC encounter so invaluable is the realism of the exercises here, an authenticity that's due largely to the hundreds of Afghan American and Iraqi American role players who volunteer at Fort Polk. After all, they know the peculiarities of their country and cultures better than anybody.
We welcome you to our village, and we are ready to answer any kind of questions you have.
For the sake of families still in Afghanistan, some role players asked us not to show their faces. But if the risk of supporting this training is so high, why get involved at all?
We know that the fact that Americans are helping to eliminate the enemy of Afghanistan. So anybody who wants to help us, we are their friend. Nowadays, Americans are helping our country and would like to be as full as possible to facilitate their success. And that's why we are here to be with the Army and to tell them what our culture is so they can approach our people in the right way. That's why we are here.
Throughout these mock Afghan camps and villages, you can hear similar stories